What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning. You are watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. I'm wondering if the footage is actually feeding properly, because I'm seeing something different on my computer screen than my camera is showing. Let's see. How about now? No. So you guys are seeing grass and I am showing you the tower, so that is odd. Because it was working just now. Let's see, what can we do to fix this? Switch to a different camera and back. That doesn't seem to be working. Interesting. It does seem that the live stream is working. I see people reacting. But what I am seeing is just the grass. And on the left hand side, the fire station, and my camera is pointing actually in the direction of the tower. Let's see. Taking out, putting them back in, just to see if this makes a difference. Ah yeah, there we go. So apparently the Thunderbolt cable, pulling it out and putting it back into the laptop, seemed to have done the trick. And let's see, zooming out. Yes, there we go. Okay, well, good morning everybody. Welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. As I was saying before, it is a cloudy day here, Schiphol Airport. We're standing at the polderbaan, which is used for departures. We have wind blowing from the north. And our first airplane is approaching. It is KLM flight 1303 to Gdansk. And Brabant 90. Good evening, Maria. Good morning, Wolfgang. And good morning to all others in the chat. It's the exception to the rule day today, where we have cloudy weather, although it was said that later in the day it is going to get more sunny. Right now it doesn't seem to be happening anytime soon. The wind is blowing from over there, more or less the north. Not seeing any improvement at the horizon. We'll see. There is a bit of wind. It's also pretty cool. We do have a grebe in the water over here. Or is it a coot? No, that's a grebe. It's diving under. Unmistakably a grebe. Right, and KLM flight 1303 to Gdansk is moving to the threshold of the runway. Let's see what else is underway. We have KLM flight 1251. That will be becoming visible pretty soon. Going to Helsinki, Finland. Another couple of A350s on today's menu. Delta has a couple. I think today there are two that are going to leave for the United States later in the morning. Finnair, the A350 from Cathay, maybe Singapore. Turkish also. But I'm not sure about the exact departure times of all these A350s to the east. It depends, of course, on the time, whether or not we are going to see them up close over here, or if they are going to take off from the center runway. The center runway is the secondary runway. Here we go, KLM flight 1303 to Gdansk. Oh, and I just now noticed that I placed my zoom control on the wrong tripod leg. Bad ergonomics makes it hard to reach the zoom rocker. Let's quickly fix that in a moment. In the meantime, good morning to all who have joined. Andy, Mr. Blue Sky, Roadhog, Lance, John Dutch Canadian, Bill, Freddy, Gertin, good morning. Quint, welcome to the show, one and all. So I'm quickly going to fixate the pen and tilt axis and unscrew my little zoom control. And take that to the... oh, need to unplug it. Fit the cable in between the tripod legs, otherwise I'm not able to move it, relocate it. This is the right tripod leg. My setup differs depending on the type of traffic I'm filming. If it moves left to right or right to left predominantly, determines on which tripod leg I mount my zoom control, because either I have to pull to the left or to the right. That means the other side is free for zooming in and zooming out. Now, hopefully all the technical issues are out of the way and we can stream without any issues from here on further. I do see that John Dutch Canadian already went ahead and gifted 5 memberships just now. John, what is up? That really wasn't necessary. You didn't have to do that, but thank you so much. I hope that everybody who received gifted memberships from you will thank you for it. Welcome to the Sky Lounge, people. Hey. Oh, that's just reflection. Here I was thinking, are the towers communicating to one another with light signals or something? From one tower to the other. Got distracted. John, once again, thank you so much for your generosity, unsurpassed. Another 5 gifted memberships just now by John Dutch Canadian. Welcome to the Sky Lounge, new members. Think there are now 31 custom emojis at your disposal. My flight radar is telling me that there is an Embraer 190 to Stavanger over here that apparently vanished into thin air. Or should I say thin air? Don't see it. Flight radar is telling me that there should be an Embraer 190. Oh, is that? Oh, this is it, right? Yeah, there we go. I thought that was the 737 already. And that's over there. That's the 737 to Dublin, Ireland. KLM flight 1137. That makes this KLM flight 1175 to Stavanger. And this is KLM flight 1251 to bloody Helsinki, Finland. Too much vodka already, yeah. Woke up, looked out, saw the clouds and immediately started drinking. The PHBCA, and she is 14 years old. First flight was in November 2010. Good morning, Andre, Frosty Shadow, Onno, Peter, Leve, Max, good morning. Gary Grebe, the mother ducker, he's coming this way, although he dove under as soon as I pointed the camera towards him. Wolfgang says drinking is not a solution, but it helps. Alcohol, I assure you, definitely is a solution. Ask any chemist, they'll tell you. Well, meanwhile, KLM Embraer 190, KLM flight 1175 to Stavanger. Ah, cable in the way. Thought, why was the panning going so stuttery? Cable's in the way. Alright, well, even though it looks very cloudy today, we aren't going to expect any precipitation, not any significant precipitation. I thought they said there might be some in one of the weekend days. I think they said Sunday, but we are expecting significant precipitation next week, so how much and on which days and whether or not the streams will go through like they did in the last couple of weeks remains to be seen. Too early to tell yet, but there's definitely some more calendar confirmed weather expected for next week over here for the Netherlands. Good morning, Roy. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Gregory. Uffel 80, guten Morgen. Mario, guten Morgen. Klaas, guten Morgen. Jij Slijm, goedemorgen. Hey there, Benny, good morning. This is KLM flight 1137 to Dublin, Ireland. So yeah, parallel departures in progress. It's the runway configuration we have come to know when the wind is blowing from the north. 36 left and center are used for outbound traffic. 36 right and 06 for inbound. This morning the north-south oriented runways were in use instead of 06 because of marginal visual conditions. Ceiling less than 2,000 feet and or visibility less than 5 kilometers. Now the KLM 737 is making its way to the threshold. KLM flight 1231 to Göteborg. We have a BA City flyer to London City also coming this way. Peter, goedemorgen. Ik Pickham, good morning. Hey there, Bryn, good morning. And first A350 of the day has been sighted. It's coming this way to take off. I think it's one of the two Deltas. And that would be Delta Airlines flight 161 to Minneapolis. And not far behind it, yeah, should be a 777-200 KLM flight 605 to San Francisco. Good morning, Cloudy. And good morning to all the other viewers who have joined us. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. And we have wind blowing from the north today. And for the time being, clouds. BA City flyer to London City, Embraer 190, flight 8496. The airplane 14 years old, first flight October 2010. Two narrow bodies immediately after this. Embraer 175, KLM flight 1185 to Kristiansand, KLM flight 1269 to Copenhagen. The Scandinavian Exodus. Delta Airlines flight 161 to Minneapolis. KLM flight 605 to San Francisco. And the two KLM Embraers to Kristiansand and Copenhagen. No, not two Embraers. Embraer 175 and the 737 to Kristiansand and Copenhagen respectively. Good morning, Dutch Farang. Who is still celebrating his pensioning party. Oh man. I'm not jealous. Me, who's been counting down the years to retirement from the first day he's got off university. Right, we have a KLM 737 taking off to Copenhagen in a moment, and here are the two next wide bodies. The first two of the show. Gives me a moment to go back to the computer. Massively thank Andy Q, who just now went ahead and gifted no less than 10 memberships. Mate, you really didn't have to do that. Thank you so much, Andy. That is really generous. Hope everybody who received a gifted membership will say thank you, will enjoy the custom emojis they have at their disposal for a month. Welcome to the Skylines new members. And Andy, thank you so much, mate. That's 10 new members courtesy of you. KLM flight 605 and Delta Airlines flight 161. I think we are going to see quite a few A350s today. Finnair today also with an A350 standard livery, if I recall correctly. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, bevroren patat. Guten Morgen, Killerspieler. Hey there, Jendrosek. Good morning. Klaus, have fun. Martin Air is celebrating 17 months of membership and he writes, whoop whoop, already 17 months. Mate, thank you so much for the continued support. I hope you still like being a member and that everything in the lounge is still to your liking. Martin Air, dankjewel kerel. Thank you so much for the ongoing support. That's 17 months, 7 more months, and you'll be turning blue, mate. It is Delta Airlines flight 161 to Minneapolis, Minnesota. A350-900, the November 508 Delta November. And she is 7 years old, hailing from the year 2018, although the month is not specified on Flight Radar. Good morning, DJ Meesters. Belikov, good morning. Good morning to you too. I am not sure if it is KLM Blue, Martin. I tried my best to get close to the KLM Blue, but I'm not sure that it is exactly the right shade of blue. Good morning, Jolo Joe. Good morning, Frans. Good morning to all others. 777-200 Earth time. This is KLM flight 605 to San Francisco. KLM Asia underway to the United States of Asia. It's the PHBQI, Bravo Quebec India. A 20-year-old 777-200ER. Now, it was said that later in the day we might get to see an occasional ray of sunshine. It does look like ever so slowly the clouds are thinning here and there. So wouldn't be surprised if maybe later in the morning we are actually going to see a single ray of sunshine, isolated from all the others. But there you go. More wide bodies. This is KLM flight 749 to Bogota in Colombia, making its way to the threshold. And in the distance on the left you can see Air Baltic, which is going to Tallinn. A220-300 Bombardier C series. Good morning, Ramon. Thijs, good morning. Hey there, Sheila, good morning. Beautiful sunny day over where you are living. By all means, do send over some rays of sunshine if you have them in abundance. Over here, there's an acute shortage of sunshine. KLM 737 took off from center on its way to Madrid, where it's presumably also a bit sunnier, and if not sunnier, then hopefully at least a bit warmer than it is over here. Hey there, Laurens, goedemorgen. Erik, goedemorgen. Richard, goedemorgen. Piotrke, goedemorgen, good morning. Andy G, good morning. We have Andy G and Andy Q. Do we have more Andys in the chat? Is that Jamie or Jaime? Good morning. Fritz, guten Morgen. Herzlich willkommen. Siegfried, goedemorgen kerel. Lufthansa A319 to Frankfurt is taking off from center. Already turning away from us. And over here, spooling up KLM flight 749, which is leaving to Bogota. Bogota, Colombia. That's right, next to Indeed, Jendrosek, a good shortage of sunshine. Now, Shamrock, retro livery, Boop the Snoot, lovely airplane, beautiful livery. Shamrock, flight 603 to Dublin, Ireland. And in the meantime, over here we have Air Baltic lined up, the first A220 of the day. Also the first Air Baltic of the day to Tallinn, flight 858. Wheel sounds indicating the spooling up of the engines. Showtime is about to begin. Registration of this A220 is YLABF. First flight was in September 2021. Let's quickly turn back, have a look at that beautiful retro livery by Aer Lingus. Shamrock flight 603. We'll be flying to Dublin, Ireland. It is an A320, and even though it looks retro, the airplane itself is not as old as it looks. This is a 14-year-old airplane. The first flight was in February 2011. Not the youngest, but definitely not as old as the livery makes it seem. Good morning, Rosie Groovy. Good morning, Samir. Good morning, Seal the Deal. Alright, next up, after this, KLM flight 601 to LAX. So that's 3 wide bodies coming this way, 4 back to back. So sit back and enjoy them. That's the first. The second and third are also coming. Hey there, Ron. Good morning. And Marianne says that the sun is coming out in Hilversum. Okay, that's nice. It still looks like a very much closed deck of clouds over here, although there are definitely some lighter bits here and there. I haven't seen any actual openings just yet. Gary Grebe, the mother ducker. I forgot to set my preset for focus at infinity. Now I have KLM flight 601 to LAX 787-10 Dreamliner. Here it is, PHBKO. That's a brand new airplane. Began flying in November last year. So this one really is brand new. Good morning, Dutch Aviation. And good morning, Jay. And all the others who have joined. Bart, goedemorgen. So, what is in store for the immediate short term? We have a 777. And another triple. And over here we have Delta splitting up. Delta Airlines flight 47 to New York, JFK, A330-300. November 821, November Whiskey, 17 years old, first flight August 2007. Good morning, Stoff 31. Pear, good morning. Anka, good morning. Welcome to the show, everybody. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy, and we are standing at the Polderbaan with wind blowing from the north today and clouds drifting in from the north. Later in the day, it is said that it will become a little bit more sunny every now and then. Time will tell. For now, we have to make do with grey, monotonous weather. It's going to stay dry though, that's the upshot. This is KLM flight 751 to Quito. Quito is in. This is a 777-200ER. PHB QE Bravo Quebec Echo. Hailing from January 2004, making it 21 years old. Gary Grebe, the mother ducker. Ruffling some feathers. And this is KLM flight 661 going to Houston in Texas. 777-200, the PHBQD Bravo Quebec Delta. 21 years old, first flight December 2003. I think it was the BQE that we had before it, so nice to see. It was from January 2004. This is December 2003. Nice to see two consecutive registrations after one another taking off here. Hey there Mark, good morning. Johan, goedemorgen. Good morning Hasso. Hasso asks if we've seen Captain Willie lately, and the answer is can't say that we have. It's been a while since we last saw him or her. Although we have seen some awesome wheelies from widebodies. I think one of the last major wheelies was from a 777 actually. In the meantime, a second Air Baltic over there, A220, going to Riga. EasyJet A320neo and KLM Embraer 190, Ryanair 737. Those are the next three airplanes coming this way after this. Hey, that's good news, Wolfgang. KLM will bring the 787 to the Amsterdam St. Maarten in June. It used to be the A330, wasn't it? Yeah. Alright, this is Air Baltic, flight 618, going to Riga. The YLABI, 2 years old, first flight made 2022. Let's see, Ryanair over there. And in the meantime, EasyJet KLM over here. Hey there, Lindsay, Martin, Banteng, good morning. Welcome to the show, everybody else who has joined in the meantime. You're watching AMS Live, my name is Boy. It's a cloudy day here at Schiphol Airport with wind blowing from the north. That means departures on Polderbaan and the center runway. Ryanair is also coming to the threshold. In the background, BA flight 429 to London Heathrow also coming this way. So narrow bodies for the time being. Pretty sure the next batch of wide bodies won't be long. EasyJet A320neo to Person Chester flight 22162. The guzzled GUZLD guzzled. Now the guzzled is 5 years old. The first flight was in June 2019. Good morning, Jonas. Good morning, Jolanda. Good morning to all the others. John Ors, good morning. So yeah, still cloudy over here. A couple of campers over there at the parking lot. No French fry trucks yet. A couple of sandbags over there. Pipelines are still here. And something happened to the snoot of PA. It's a clown's nose. Nasal damage is not a joke. How dare you make fun of nasal damage? A clown's nose. Puh. Hey, Liwe. Good to see you, mate. It is blue member number 4. Congratulations, mate. Thank you so much for the support. Amazing. This is Ryanair, flight 3101 to Dublin, Ireland. A 737-800 EIENG. 14 years old, first flight October 2010. Good morning, Yuri. Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Henry. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Indeed. Here it is. BA flight 429 to London Heathrow. This is an A320. It's the GEUUR. Grrr. Girl's 21 years old. First flight was in May 2003. Well, and away she goes. Good morning, chill bro Baggins. Good morning, Paul. Good evening, Trigger Dial. Welcome to the show, everybody else who has joined. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. The wind is blowing from the north today. It is cloudy, and we are seeing departures from the Polderbaan and the Center Runway today. This is KLM flight 1031 to Person-Chester. It's an A321neo. Singapore Airlines A350 right there. EasyJet to Bristol coming this way. Now, I'm happy to say that it does look like we might get occasional sunshine over here. Looking up, there are actually little itty bitty bits of blue forming here. Even a little contro remnant can be seen over there. So, who knows? Who knows? It's starting to look a bit more favorable. This is KLM flight 1031 to Person-Chester. It's an A321neo. It's PHAXC. PHAXC. BA in the background. This airplane is brand new according to Flight Radar. Its first flight was in November last year. Yeah, that's what they said, Liwe. But you know what? With the weather, I'm always of the opinion seeing is believing. No. Good morning, all the viewers who have joined just now. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. This is the Polderbaan, where the departures take place from. Center as well, open for outbound traffic. We have another A220 coming this way. That is Air Baltic going to Vilnius. Over here we have EasyJet flight 922 to Bristol. That's the Gesta GEZTA. And the first ray of sunshine over here. What? I'm also hearing duckies, but these are doing a flyby. One on one side, the other on the other. Both passing me by. One to the left, one to the right. Let's confuse the mofo. The two-legged duck. So this is Gesta. First flight was in February 2009. The airplane is 16 years old. Henry says, check current runway use. Why? Anyway, see that GE just now went ahead, gifted 5 memberships. GE, thank you so much for your generosity. Really, you didn't have to do that, but thank you so much. 5 new members, courtesy of you. I hope that everybody who received a gifted membership from you just now will say thank you for it. There are 31 custom emojis that you now have at your disposal as a member. Use them however you see fit. Thank you so much, GE, and welcome to the Sky Lounge new members. This is Air Baltic, flight 962 to Vilnius, an A220-300. Alrighty. Fidel Castro over there. Hovering. Looking for Pinky and the Brine. Good morning to all the viewers who have joined in the meantime. We have SAS flight 552 to Copenhagen. In the meantime, KLM Triple to Cape Town, South Africa. Alright, so let's have a look. There are a couple of airplanes underway. KLM Flight 743 to Lima in Peru is coming this way. We have KLM Flight 1005 to London Heathrow coming this way. And Transavia to Paris is taking off from center. Paul, good morning. Mats, good morning. Welcome to the show, everybody. Benny, good morning. So yeah, current status quo. Let's have a look at the METAR. This is what was in the chat in the beginning of in the ticker in the beginning of the stream. Wind blowing 8 knots from the north to northeast, 9 degrees C, and the ceiling at 1500 feet. A refresh will tell us that the ceiling has risen to 1700 feet, that the wind direction hasn't changed, although the spread has widened a little bit. It's 9 degrees C, 10 knots of wind. So all in all, no significant changes between the two METARs. No SIG also expected for the upcoming 2 hours. Runway use at the moment. The north-south oriented runway is back in use. There are airplanes incoming. Now from over here, unless they are landing on the center runway, we are not going to see a lot of them. There are a couple of 747s underway. Cargolux, Saudia, Cargolux, Atlas Air, Emirates A380 today in the destination Dubai livery. Its ETA is 109, so that's probably going to land somewhere far away from us. Don't expect that we can see a lot from those airplanes over here today. Now, in the meantime, good morning to all who have joined. Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Marcelo. Good morning, Mike Wild, and all the others. Here we have KLM Flight 743 to Lima in Peru coming this way in the distance. KLM A321neo will follow. KLM Flight 1005 to London Heathrow. In the meantime, if you've been enjoying the stream so far and you haven't already, consider leaving a like. Really helps to bring in new people. People like yourselves who are into aviation streams like these, but who haven't heard of AMS Live yet. See, the Delta Airlines Flight 133 to Detroit has also come alive. That's the second A350. Oh wait, and Delta Airlines Flight 73 to Atlanta is already on the move this way. So those are the second and third Delta A350s of today. Delta Airlines Flight 57 is also underway. Hey, was that a special livery? Hans' favorite Welling. Dream, play, fly. Duly noted. Right, well, looking on the platform, quite a few big airplanes are on the move. We can already see Delta Airlines Flight 73 in the background. That's coming this way. MDW, goedemorgen. Barcelona livery. There you go. So it's nice that Delta last week has been flying the A350s back to Amsterdam more regularly. I think this is another stream where we are going to see 3, if not more, just of Delta. And there's always the A350-1000 Cathay Pacific that we might get a chance of seeing. Same for Singapore Airlines. And today, Finnair also is flying the A350 to Amsterdam. Standard livery though, but still. Lovely machine. I'm definitely wearing my gloves, Peter. Not yet the heated, just the fingerless. But it is absolutely a necessity to keep the hands as warm as possible. I am in full winter gear, so padded trousers, rain trousers over the padded trousers, hat over my hat. And KLM Flight 743 to Lima in Peru, approaching the threshold, is going to turn onto the runway in a moment. Another KLM Asia 777. Meanwhile, Charlene Michelle Samshuizen just became our latest Aurora Sky Lounge member. Charlene, welcome to the club. Thank you for the vote of confidence and for the support. I hope you are going to like it in the lounge. The custom emojis now are at your disposal. Use them however you want. Spamming is not allowed, but custom emoji use is promoted and is stimulated. By all means, use those custom emojis however you see fit. Welcome, Charlene, and thank you for the support and for the vote of confidence. KLM Flight 743 to Lima in Peru, 777-300 Hey, Jerome also back in the chat. Welcome back, Captain Jerry. Hope you're doing well, mate. Good morning, Kidelp. Good morning, Steve-O. Welcome to the show, all others who have joined us in the meantime. Now, there are even a few flowers over here. Lovely to see. They're everywhere. Even where you don't expect them. Time for another A321neo from KLM. This one is going to London Heathrow as flight 1005. We saw fax C earlier. This is fax B, the PHAXB, hailing from September last year. Good morning, Mitchell. And good morning all the others who have joined. Looking behind me, not seeing anything, no reason for a hold up, and you can see that the airplane is rolling. Oh. My hand was stuck on a cable once again. The HDMI cable. Hence the sudden jump when I released it. Alright. Wide bodies are coming. We are going to see a wide body exodus pretty soon. It's in the making. Delta Airlines flight 237 to Tampa is the first to approach in the distance. Delta Airlines flight 57, TUI flight 391, Delta Airlines flight 143. They're all wide bodies coming this way. Leaving for the west, the Wild Wild West. Delta Airlines flight 73 is also coming this way. Absolutely wonderful. Hey! Captain Jerry received a job offer today. They want you out of retirement. What? What kind of job were you asked for? Now I'm curious. Right, lot flight 266 lined up in runway center, taking off to Warsaw as we speak. Should appear from the right in the background in a moment. There it is. A lot to see at Schiphol Airport, always. Good morning, Ari. Ohayou gozaimasu. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Jerry says that US Navy wants me as a radio officer on a supply ship. Is that something you have experience with? Sounds like you will be away from home a lot of the time then. Dutch Rang is so happy with his recent retirement. He says in Dutch, that's never going to happen ever in my life. That I am going to agree with that. Going back to work after retirement. Boy also sees them a lot at Schiphol. Yeah, me too, mate. We're seeing things. Wolfgang says, hey boy, do you know if for every A321, every new A321 Neo, an old plane has to go one by one, or do they grow the fleet? I wouldn't know for sure. I imagine that some will get replaced, others might serve next to one another for a while. I imagine that the older 737s are probably going to be retired. They were going to be retired regardless. Now, I'm not sure if it is just replacement or if it is fleet expansion. There are definitely also older airplanes in the fleet that will undoubtedly just be replaced. But yeah. First of the wide-body exodus. Delta Airlines flight 237 to Tampa in Florida. Hey Peter, goedemorgen. It is cold, absolutely. The A330 that we saw just now 9 years old, first flight January 2016. Little narrow body to cleanse the palate and get ready for more wide bodies. Now there's also a Norwegian coming this way. Not sure if there's a grumpy face on the livery or not. On the tail. In the livery. Jerry says, I don't think I can pass the physical, but there is a free flight to Washington DC. It's a good excuse to go sightseeing. Go for a job application with a free flight to Washington. Hey there, Aviation Dallas. Good evening, mate. Good to see you again. Lon says, I thought Jerry might be getting a job as a taster at the local microbrewer. I think that's also a fitting role for you, Jerry. Have you ever considered doing that as a side hustle? KLM flight 1753 to Hamburg is lined up and ready to go in a few moments. This is an Embraer 190 PHEXF. Norwegian has nothing on the tail. Just a blank lipstick airplane. Lindsay is back in German lesson and we'll have a test in a moment. Viel Glück damit! This Embraer 190 is 9 years old, and I'm looking behind me to see if maybe there is a vehicle on the runway, but there isn't. Hey Sabine, good morning. So we have an Embraer 190 over here. Norwegian 737. And here are the wide bodies, and you can see in the background the Team USA A330neo also coming this way. Alright, something is pulling up. Morgen, Romin. Up and away. Ooh, first ray of sunshine. What? And only a vague shady figure has become visible over here. Yeah, more blue over there. That's nice. I think the wind is also coming from that direction at the moment, ever so slightly east, no, west of north. Looking around me, definitely here and there you can see some blue sky openings. I wonder if the sky is going to open up even further as the day progresses. But there you go. Now, this is a narrow body, and after that we are going to see 4 wide bodies back to back. Good morning, Michael, and all the others who have joined. This is Norwegian. Norwegian without anybody on the tail. Going to Copenhagen, 737-800. Hey, bird control is coming this way. Bird control is coming this way. So, let's have a look. Delta A350. Delta A330neo. TUI Dreamliner. And Team USA A330neo by Delta. Let's begin the show with Delta Airlines Flight 73 in A350-900 to Atlanta, Georgia. It's the November 568 Delta Zulu. The airplane is 9 years old already, hailing from December 2015. Howdy Roy, goedemorgen. Good morning, Morne, or Morn. Not sure how to pronounce it properly. Morn or Morny. Delta Airlines Flight 57 to Salt Lake City is next to take off. This is an A330neo November 423 Delta X-Ray. The airplane is a year old, will turn 2 in June this year. And for those of you joining us just now, welcome to the show. You are watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We are standing at the beginning of the Polderbaan, runway 36 left. Primary runway for outbound traffic today. Wind blowing from the north. Morning. Good morning, Alan. Good morning, Rino Ponta. Hans, good morning. Horia, good morning. Scholar J, good morning. Welcome back, everybody. Widebody Exodus is in progress. This is TUI Flight 391 to Boner. It is a 7878 Dreamliner. The PHTFK, 10 years old, first flight made 2014. And after that, Team USA A330neo by Delta. Howdy Hans, goedemorgen. Tina, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, everybody. Well, the bits of blue are growing in size. It is opening up, actually. I'm always of the opinion seeing is believing when it concerns weather. But I'm happy to see that the forecast actually seems to be coming true. Team USA, Delta Airlines Flight 143. going to Seattle, Washington. November 411 Delta X-ray, 3 years old, first flight May 2021. Right. I haven't even seen the firefighters on their patrol round today. I guess they already did it before I even arrived on the scene, or they didn't go, or they went to a different location because I haven't seen them since I arrived here. You can see that they are parked outside of the fire station. You can also see the windsock. We have to wait a few moments before next traffic is going to take off, and that gives us a good moment to have a look on flight radar and see what is happening. Inbound traffic, that's probably already a bit outdated. Let's have a look at the wind and the weather. A refresh of the METAR will tell us that the wind is now a little bit west of north and is now 11 knots. It is still 9 degrees Celsius. We have 10 plus kilometers of visibility, but that is below the 1700 feet ceiling. 9 degrees Celsius is the temperature. That is just a little bit below 50 Fahrenheit. I'm pasting the new weather report in the ticker for you guys so that you can read it back. And then it is back to the camera controls. Now, if you've been enjoying the stream so far, you haven't already, consider leaving a like. It really helps to bring in new people like yourselves who are into live aviation streams such as these, but who haven't heard of AMS Live yet. We are still a very small channel in the big pond that is YouTube, and a like goes a long way. SAS, flight 822 to Oslo, and an all-white TUI to Tenerife. I think, or no, Ace is Lanzarote, isn't it? Yeah, Lanzarote. More Deltas underway. Delta Airlines flight 135 to Detroit. Swiss E2 Embraer 190 to Zurich. A220 to Sofia, also coming this way. And first up, this all-white ghost plane. Flying on behalf of TUI, it is Go to Sky, going to Lanzarote. Registration OMGTK. 16 years old. First flight June 2008. Ah, it's a Volvo. Let's see, this is SAS flight 822 to Oslo. Alan also back in the chat, Midview also back in the chat, Brian S in the chat, good to see you mates. Welcome back, hope all is well. And Liwe has to go. Thanks for stopping by, Liwe. Hope to see you tomorrow then. And this is the EISIV. Only 2 years old still. A320neo. First flight of this airplane was in February 2023. Things on occasion are opening up here and there. A little bit of control remnant to be seen. Thought I saw an airplane passing overhead briefly before it went behind the clouds. And we have our first line skipper today. Here we go. Swiss E2 Embraer 190, Helvetic Airways. Going to Zurich. E2 Embraer 190. 4 years old. First flight was in January 2021. They are doing a rolling start, turning and burning. Fuselage quite clearly not as long as with the E2 Embraer 195. Good morning, NJ. Good morning, Berend. Jero, good morning. Welcome back, everybody. This is Delta Airlines flight 135, which is going to go to Detroit, Michigan. It's an A330-300, November 806, November Whiskey. 21 years old, first flight February 2004. Right, things are opening up here. That is great to see. Right, 2 more airplanes over here right now. This is Bulgaria flight 462, which will be leaving for Sofia in a moment. Bombardier C-Series 300, aka the A220. LZ ROM, that's Romeo Oscar Mike. Airplane a year old, first flight June 2023. After this, we are going to see Vueling to Alicante. Let's see what else is happening. Parallel arrivals now on center and on left. So 06 right now not used for arrivals, but center. Right, quick adjustment in the ticker. There we go. John asks where the Coots are. I haven't seen the Coots yet. Only Gary Grebe here today thus far. And a flyby of Donald and Daisy Duck. The water over here, pretty calm when it comes to water birds. Actually, nothing to see here. So yeah, don't know where they are. Maybe they are at the other runway demolishing grebes nests. This is Vueling flight 1376, which is going to go to Alicante. It is Vueling, but it is all white, so if Han is watching or is watching the replay, you can rest assured. And this is the ECOFU. No yellow dot indeed. Meanwhile, Singapore Airlines A350 over here, going to Singapore. And we have another cheater on Cheater's Lane. It is KLM flight 1219 to Stockholm, coming this way. And I wonder, no. I was wondering if the Embraer would do the same, but it isn't. This is KLM flight 1219 to Stockholm. A 737-800, the PHBXF, 24 years old. Turning and burning, question mark. Yep, turning and burning. No time to waste. Gotta move with haste. Singapore Airlines next. At the threshold, lined up, ready to go to Singapore. Flight 323, A350-900. Registration 9 Victor Sierra Juliet Foxtrot. The airplane is 2 years old. First flight was in March 2023, so this airplane just turned 2. Carmelo also back in the chat. Benvenuto. Welcome back, mate. Hope all is well. That's an A330 in the background landing by the looks of it. Up, up, and away she goes. Paul also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Welcome back. Hope all is well. Audrey, good morning. This airplane has to wait until the wake turbulence of the preceding widebody has dissipated sufficiently. We'll take off pretty soon, though. KLM flight 1799 to Düsseldorf and Embraer 175, and after that we are going to see Air Europa path to Madrid. That's the 787-9 Dreamliner. Gives me a moment to take a quick sip of vodka. Another TUI Dreamliner is coming this way. Curacao. Hey, and United has a 767-300 to Houston that is coming this way. DB Basement, good morning. Omar, good morning. Welcome back, everybody. So yeah, looking up, things are opening up actually more and more. Quite a substantial chunk of blue here in the sky. The wind is coming from over there more or less, and you can even see it because the clouds are forming sort of lanes, cloud streets. Those are formations of cloud parallel to one another in the direction the wind is blowing. A good visualization of the wind direction. Lufty CRJ is also coming this way by the looks of it. Nice. Right now it is 11:22 and that means just one runway open for departures. That runway is this runway. All well over here, Paul, albeit a bit chilly. Air Europa to Madrid, flight 1098, 7879 Dreamliner, the EC OEM. 4 years old, first flight January 2021. Time for another TUI Dreamliner. This is going to go to Curaçao, Willemstad, flight 367. Belgian registered, the OOJDL this is. The first flight of this airplane was in November 2013, making it 11 years old. Hadi Anja, goedemorgen, good morning. Marco R, goedemorgen. Captain Eddie Bos, good evening. Hans Zwanenburg, goedemorgen. Welcome everybody. Hope you're doing well. The sun is shining. Although we began the day with cloudiness. And you can see looking in the background that we still have a substantial part of the sky covered by clouds. Things are opening up somewhat. Temperatures relatively low. Somewhere around 10 degrees Celsius or 50 Fahrenheit. Tomorrow's high is a few degrees higher, I think 15 or so, and Saturday promises to become the warmest day here with temperatures of 20 to 25 degrees. Whether or not we're going to get those numbers remains to be seen. After that, the temperatures are also expected to cool down again substantially. We're also going to see precipitation next week after the weekend, presumably. So yeah. Last few sunny days before a week of more calendar confirmed weather. Now, In the meantime, Willem, thank you so much for your super chat. Mate Scorpo, aka Willem, who writes, Hola, much amor from sunny Pyrenees to all. Have a great day. Thanks for all the great work. Take good care in the madhouse. Best wishes, Willem. Willem, thank you so much for the kind words and for the support, mate. You didn't have to do that. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Crack open the beers and the barbecue, yeah. The one day Saturday before we might have to wait who knows how long for another opportunity. This is SAS flight 556 and it is going to Stockholm. Here's the SAS CRJ. Now, I haven't seen Michael in a while. Last time he was here was a couple of weeks ago, I think. And only then he was briefly here. His favorite airplane. Lufty CRJ flight 2303 to Munich. John says, put on your shorts and crop top. Well, knowing Schiphol and the windy conditions over here, it's probably still going to be cold. Maybe I can leave the gloves at home and the ski hat, but it's usually colder than warmish over here. Unless it is truly wind still, then it can be soaring hot, but it's searing hot, I should say. Soaring hot is something else. This is United Airlines flight 21 to Houston, Texas. It's a 767-300. 31 years old already. First flight May 1993. Now, if all is well, tomorrow Rick Meester and his girlfriend are coming to stop by at Schiphol. They also have some other stuff to do here, like going to the IKEA in Haarlem. So if all is well, Rick will be coming this way tomorrow. Looking forward to that. He did announce it last week and I reached out to him yesterday. He said the plan was to come by tomorrow, so looking forward to that. In the meantime, good morning the cat. Rauw. Jill Bima, good morning. Vincent, goedemorgen. Adriaan, goedemorgen. Anita en Lennart, goedemorgen. Adi Koeni, goedemorgen. Indeed, sandbags in front of the door. The metaphorical door behind me. It's a makeshift playground where you can make a sandcastle. Or the dogs can take a pee-pee. Lufty, flight 2303, going to Munich. Michael's favorite. Haven't heard from him in a while. Has anybody else heard anything from him? Hope he's doing well still. Probably busy working, but... And it is on the move. 15 years old. First flight June 2009. And we have liftoff. Wolfgang says, damn, I need to go to Munich tomorrow. Greet Rick from me, please. I will definitely do that, mate. No worries. There is a control coming this way. It is a twinjet by the looks of it. Seems to be coming from Munich. Well, the direction of Munich, or more often Frankfurt, I should say. Here we have JetBlue to Boston, flight 632. And after that we are going to see Air France flight 1341, which will be leaving for Paris. And that is an A321. Johnny asks, no ducks today? The answer is no, just one grebe, and he only briefly made an appearance earlier in the show. This is an A321neo. After this we are going to see a regular A321 non-neo. Right, A321neo, JetBlue to Boston. Compare that with the next airplane that we are going to see and hear. Air France to Paris. That's an old school A321, not neo, so to speak. Magpie over here. Yeah, what? Air France flight 1341 to Paris. And that's a normal A321, not neo. Lovely old school whistle when it passes you by. Air France, oh la la! Hey, Jeff is also back, and he appears to have been gifted a membership. I don't know who the donor was. We have seen quite a few gifted memberships again today. Might have also been from last Sunday, of course. Unless, of course, the notification was from this morning. Mike the Magpie. Like the name. American Airlines flight 203 to Philadelphia. Spooling up. 7878 Dreamliner. November 871 Alpha Yankee. Alpha Yankee. The Alpha Yankee is leaving for America. It is the Alpha Yankee. And it is 4 years old, first flight April 2020. Hey there, Lucas, good morning. Welcome to all the others who have joined. Now, the sun no longer shining here. We have to wait a few moments before it reappears, hiding behind the clouds. I also have to update my chat window because it isn't scrolling completely down. Always annoying. You have it on split screen, and it does work differently than when you have regular full screen. Now I am back at the end of the chat. Yeah. Hey there, Marcel. Good morning. Welcome back, mate. Hope all is well. Alright, got the chat again. Updating. Deslicious, good morning. Is it morning still? Yes, it is still morning. And it is 11:37. Right now the central runway is in use for arrivals. I think we are going to see it being used for departures pretty soon. Unless the runway use is once again changing. This is an A320neo to Palma de Mallorca. And it is a Neorio. Right, we have a Lufty that is lining up over here, and we have Delta to New York coming this way. Delta Airlines Flight 49, that's an A330neo coming this way. And right now we have Lufthansa Flight 989 to Frankfurt. A321, already going. This is Dairo, D-A-I-R-O. And this is a 29-year-old airplane already. Right, let's see what else is on the move. A Turkish A350, but it seems to be on the taxiway to the center runway. Looks like Turkish is going to be the first departure from the center runway again. That is a pity. Now let's have a look. What is runway use? Have they begun using the polderbaan again? The Kaagbaan? Yep. So it is back to 06 and 36 right. Quick update of the ticker then. While we're waiting for Delta to arrive here on the runway threshold. So arrivals 06 and 36 right. And departures from 36 left and center. There we go. Hey there, Rodney. Good to see ya. PC Builder John, good morning. And over here we have Delta Airlines Flight 49 to New York, JFK. It's an A330neo. The November 433 Delta X-Ray. A brand new airplane. First flight was in December 2024. We had moments where the sun was shining and the sky was a bit more blue. Now looking to the west, there's definitely a bit more blue in the sky. Looking to the north, there's a white plaque of cloud that is drifting this way. I think it is blocking the sun and going to block the sun for some time to come. Looking more to the east, there are some openings, but not very big openings like they have been before. The Kaagbaan is once again in use for arriving traffic. And as it happens, we have A747 that is now approaching Cargolux. And in fact, this is Retrolux. It is the Retro Cargolux with that beautiful black boop the snoot. And there it goes. Retrolux has landed. And we are waiting for traffic. Hey, no, I am happy to say I am wrong. Turkish flight 1952 seems to be going around the southern threshold of the center runway. And that means it is coming this way. That is nice to see. The next airplane to arrive on the scene over here should be KLM flight 691 going to Toronto. That's a 787-10 Dreamliner coming this way and should appear in the background on the right hand side in a moment. It looks like there is a Maple Leaf over there. Is that Air Canada? It looks a bit like it, doesn't it? That is certainly the Maple Leaf of Air Canada. So KLM flight 691 should become visible pretty soon. Is Turkish moving? Or have they made a mistake and were they supposed to be taking the entrance to the center runway and did they drive incorrectly? A350 seems to be standing still, doesn't it? The Turkish A350 now is, oh wait, ground speed 1 knot. It has begun moving again. 2 knots. I'm still not fully convinced that the Turkish A350 is coming this way. I wouldn't be surprised if those pilots maybe took the wrong turn and realized they went too far. In the meantime, the KLM Dreamliner over here. Embraer 190 to Bologna will be appearing in the background, or will it? Maybe it has already. Well, if I make the shot wider, we can definitely still pick it up. There it is. Embraer 190. Now let's see what Turkish flight 1952 is going to do, because on paper, with 2 runways open, it should take the eastmost runway to fly to the east. I'm still thinking it might take a right-hand turn here, go to the threshold of the center runway, but from the left. Adrian says that Turkey is coming this way. That's interesting. That's an interesting runway choice. 9 out of 10 times it would have taken the center runway to take off to the east. There is movement over here in the water. But further to the north, you guys were asking about where are the coots? your answer, there is one of them. It is the only bird that I am seeing in yards and yards of empty water, or meters and meters, whatever you would like to call it. It's pretty far away, and it's the only one that I'm seeing, the only water bird at the moment, period. Maria says Turkish goes to center as expected. They probably took a wrong turn. Interesting to see what they are going to do. They're already past the entrance to the threshold, so will they take the next turn to the right? No. Turkish does seem to be coming this way. They already passed the two entrances, southmost entrances. I think, yeah, Turkish does seem to be coming this way. This is the PHBKF. So much heat wave distortion. Makes it seem as if it is scorching hot over here, when in actuality it isn't. Right, so Turkish, the bonus A350 that almost got away but isn't. So yeah, Turkish is coming, and it looks like the second airplane to take off from the center runway right now is going to be the Qatar 777 to Doha. Okie dokie. Duly noted. Right, back to the business at hand over here at the Polderbaan. This is KLM flight 691 to Toronto, Canada. It is a 787-10 Dreamliner, the PHBKF, 5 years old, first flight December 2019. Rock and roll, it's showtime. And hey there, Petrikov, good morning. Meanwhile, over at the parking of the Spottersplatz, there are still campers. No French fries trucks or ice cream trucks to be seen. I think the next departure from the center runway ought to be the 777 from Qatar. Hey Jörg, also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Right, Qatar, flight 8917 to Doha. Qatar Cargo is about to take off from the center runway. 777 freighter, the A7BTA. The airplane a year old, first flight December 2023. In the meantime, the Turkish A350 is coming. Here she is. And I can hear the sound of the 777 spooling up. Up and away. Hey. Chinese triple has been pushed back on the cargo apron. Those usually take off from Polderbaan when they take off to the north, and center is also open. Let's see, Finnair A350 has also come alive on the platform. Another A350 that is likely going to come this way. And over here, an A350 that we almost didn't get to see. Turkish Airlines, flight 1952 to Istanbul. And Jörg is probably in Thailand now, aren't you? Hope the flight went well. Hope you're enjoying the country and everything is well with your relatives as well. Thought I read that they weren't affected by the earthquake in Burma that happened recently. Hadi Kasper, goedemorgen. So we have an A321neo to Atirau taking off from the center runway in the meantime. You might pick it up on the mic. Turkish flight 1952, which will be leaving for Istanbul pretty soon. The TC Lego, LGO. Mike the Magpie over there, chilling in the grass. You also saw something yellow. Bird control is doing an inspection of the runway. That is why the A350 is holding short in the background. Hadi Jillard, goedemorgen. Hey there, Hakan. And I'm happy to hear that, Jörg. Sabine says Mike is prancing around like he owns the place. Yeah, if it's not the magpies that act like they own the place, it's the crows or the coots. Everybody thinks they're the king. That makes it so fun because you do get to see some animal drama every now and then because of it. Yeah, I'm the king in town. This is my terrain. Yeah, hip hop. It's what I do. I like hip hop. I like listening to it. I like practicing it. Hipping and hopping. It's a lifestyle. Do you know what I'm saying? Howdy Theo, goedemorgen. Howdy Ricardo. I will probably be streaming, but whether or not I'm going to film departures or arrivals, I don't know yet. That always depends on the wind and runway use. But on paper, on Saturday morning, I should be out streaming. Weather still seems to be good in the upcoming weekend. Not sure about next week though. Then again, it's hard to predict the weather well in advance accurately. So even though it says rain now in the forecasts for next week, it might still change. So I have to take it one day at a time. Turkish is taking its time. The bird control no longer seems to be on the runway. I do, Audrey. Thursdays through Sundays. If we have weeks where, because of weather or other obligations, I'm unable to stream on Thursdays through Sundays, I sometimes, depending on the situation, try to compensate by streaming on a Monday. But I try to keep that as my fixed day off. Jeff says, I have a week off next week. You must stream. Oh, no pressure. Turkish is continuing to enter the runway and line up. Turkish flight 1952. Small airplane in the background. That is going to runway 06. Hey there, Sophie. And all the others who have joined. You're watching Amos Live. My name is Boy. This is Turkish flight 1952. An A350 that we almost didn't get to see, but luckily we do. It's going to Istanbul in Turkey. This particular airplane is new. A year old. First flight October 2023. Maria has 2 weeks off. No pressure at all. Cornelia Nell, 91 years old, tuning in from Vienna. Welcome. And Turkish flight 1952 is underway. Finnair is also underway. Finnair to bloody Helsinki, Finland. Another A350 coming this way. Bob has every day off. John too. Are you guys trying to make us jealous? Me, I've been looking forward to the day I'll retire from the first day I got off university back when I was in my early 20s. I will do that now. I will do my best to keep myself together over here. Luckily, when the sun is shining, it's not very cold anymore. This is a 777-300 to Johannesburg. That's in the south of Fritz is going. Wiedersehen, bis bald. And thank you for joining us. And we have another Beyonce in the chat. Say my name, say my name. Delta Airlines flight 243 is in the foreground. It will be going to Boston, Massachusetts. It's an A330neo, and we have an A319 going to London Heathrow behind it. That's BA flight 431. Now, other airplanes of interest underway. The Finnair A350 has just gone around the southern threshold of the center runway and is now on the move. There is a Chinese triple that is going to go to Guangzhou in China. And that is coming to the Polderbaan. United, or United I should say, make it sound more English. United flight 908 is going to Chicago O'Hare. That's a 7878 Dreamliner, which has been pushed back. Seems to be coming this way pretty soon. Now I wonder, with the wide body preceding this narrow body, will it take cheater's lane or will it follow and take off from the threshold? Usually the narrow bodies precede wide bodies simply because they have to wait longer for the wake turbulence of the wide bodies to dissipate otherwise. Now we have our answer. BA is continuing to the threshold, so it will be first in, first out today for this duo. Means we can focus the camera on the Delta A330 that is now lining up. Flight 243 going to NA if I click on the label, but we know it is going to Boston, Massachusetts. It's the November 410 Delta Zulu. The airplane is 4 years old. First flight was in 2021 in April. It's British, it knows how to queue, Jeff says. Always picking the wrong queue. That's what Dutch people do, or at least speaking for myself. It's a bit like being in a traffic jam. For those of you who know the film, the intro of Office Space, you think one queue is quicker than the other, so you line up in the queue you think is going to be the fastest, and then you see that the other queue is actually going faster because the person at the cash register doesn't know how to use their phone or whatever. You switch, and then it turns out that there's a nincompoop in front of you that is even more slower than the other person was, and you were faster had you stayed in the original queue. Hey Ricardo, goedemiddag. BA flight 431 to London Heathrow A319 has to wait until the wake turbulence of the preceding airplane has dissipated sufficiently. Won't be too long. It's the GEUPK. And this airplane is 24 years old, hailing from May 2000. KLM Embraer 190 to Aberdeen will be next to take off over here. And then Finnair. Hey, and we also have the Dash 8 100 Coast Guard that just took off from runway 04 by the looks of it. Coast Guard Dash 8 100, still with a Canadian registration. Also able to hear it now. Oh, yeah, we're still holding onto a cable again. Right, the sun is once again coming out here to shine, albeit temporarily, but at least we are getting some warmth again from the sun, the yellow orb in the sky. And here we have Finnair flight 1302, which is going to go to bloody Helsinki in Finland. It's the OHLWG. The airplane is 8 years old, first flight September 2016. In the meantime, a KLM Embraer. Chinese triple also coming this way to Guangzhou in China. United flight 908 is also on the move. 777 for KLM to Mumbai is also on the move, but that is a candidate for the center runway, unfortunately. Hadi Lindsay, welkom terug. First up, Finnair flight 1302 to bloody Helsinki in Finland. Oscar Hotel, Lima Whiskey Golf. Golfing with whiskey. Nice and relaxed. Hey there, Jill. Hey there, Stove. Hey there, all others who have joined. This airplane is 8 years old. First flight was in September 2016. A350-900. Maynard asks why Finnair flies an A350 to Helsinki. Well, apparently because they can fill it. And smaller airplanes are too small. I'm also surprised, but then again, I'm also surprised about Air Europa with Dreamliners to Madrid. Even more interesting, Air Europa on weekdays flying Dreamliners to Madrid, and in the weekends just a small 737. You'd think it would be the other way around, but it isn't. Lindsay says that the German test was really stupid and difficult. Oh dear, that doesn't sound very well. It doesn't sound like you are convinced you made it. Hey Scott, good evening. Welcome back, hope you had a good day. Welcome to the show, all others who have joined. You're watching AMS Live, my name is Boy. We are standing along the Polderbaan, runway 36 left, primary runway for outbound traffic. Now parallel departures in progress, center runway also open. If you are enjoying the stream and you haven't already, consider leaving a like. It really helps to bring in new people, people like yourselves who are into live streams like these, but who haven't heard of AMS Live yet. Your likes go a long way to promote the content to new people. Polderbaan indeed, Cheyenne. And Scott is celebrating 9 months of membership. 9 months, it's a boy! Scott, thank you so much for the continued support. I'm happy to hear that you seemingly still like it in the lounge. I hope that is actually the right interpretation. Thank you for the ongoing support, Scott. In 3 months you'll be turning green and Greenpeace is going to throw a party to celebrate. AMS Live becoming one of the greenest YouTube channels out there with all those green members. Hadi Infinity, good to see you again, mate. Flower Corso indeed on Saturday. It's not going to be a problem, just a bit more challenging getting back. In the morning we should still be able to go out to Schiphol without any issues. It's just that coming back you will probably hit traffic jams. The well-known flower corso in the flower strip region will be taking place this Saturday. Usually draws an audience of 1 million or so people spread between the villages, between the beginning and the end of the route, which is beginning in Noordwijk and ending in Haarlem. Scott asks if he missed anything good. Well, can't say that we have seen quad-engined airplanes in today's stream, except for Retrolux that was landing on 06. And Cheyenne says, since you are live, I watch takeoffs of airplanes to get in to fall asleep. Well, I'm happy to hear that at least you have something useful that you can use the streams for. Awesome. We have a wide body that is taking its time to line up, and we have a narrow body that is on cheater's lane that is trying to avoid waiting for the wake turbulence to dissipate. This is BA City Flyer flight 8452 to London City, and Embraer 190 will be taking off before the Chinese triple will, presumably. Chinese triple is now lining up, but the BA doesn't seem to be stopping, so... Oh yeah, and of course Aer Lingus Retro flight 603 from Shamrock to Dublin this morning. It was the Retro. JD has to go. Jurk, enjoy the rest of your stay, mate. Thanks for stopping by. Hope to see you again soon. Any messages for the viewers? The answer is sadly no. We are seeing bits of blue again in the sky, mostly to the northwest. Looking to the north, this is what it looks like. Northeast, east, southeast, south, southwest, and west. Well, to be more precise, it's the western half of the sky that is now showing more sunshine, or at least blue sky. We have an excavator and a tractor. It's the beginning of a joke. It sounds like the beginning of a joke, doesn't it? An excavator and a tractor are driving next to the polderbaan. Suddenly, this is China Southern Cargo flight 2578 going to Guangzhou in China. It's a 777 freighter, 16 years old already. The first flight was in March 2009. And in Chinese fashion, those flaps are rather sleazy and dirty and grimy. Yuck. Hey there, Ryan. Good afternoon. Good morning to all others who have joined. Good morning, David. Anja says it's still cloudy in Tilburg, but the sun is trying to get through the clouds. Yeah, we had the same thing over here. You could see that it was thinning at locations initially, and then it actually began to open up. This is United. United flight 908, which is going to Chicago O'Hare. Hey there, Tap Retals, who is tuning in from London but will be in Alkmaar this weekend. Bring your shorts, it's going to be warm on Saturday. 20 to 25 degrees C is what they are expecting. The temperature is going to drop again after Saturday. Hadi Henk, goedemiddag. United flight 908 to Chicago O'Hare. It's the November 27903 and she is 12 years old. First flight was in December 2012. I wonder what the next airplane is going. Another Chinese triple, but to Shanghai. That is good news. And John says it's nice to see a United that is less than 30 years old. Yeah. Then again, I also like seeing those 30-year-olds. Since it is usually 767-300s, although an occasional 400 we've also seen. The excavator is still moving. It is a Liebherr. Dear sir, Liebherr. E2 Embraer 195. KLM to Munich. Hey, that's good news, Jeff. Cargo Lux 747 on the move. Where is it going to go to? Will it be taking off from this runway or will it be going to center? Practice your pronouns, Doodleman says. Practice your pronouns. My pronoun is him. That's a pronoun, isn't it? He, him. Austrian Wolf says, a Liebherr identifying as a cat. Is that so? It does look a little bit like a caterpillar, doesn't it? Yeah. From a distance you would think it is a cat, isn't it? Wouldn't you? Alright, there is a triplet of airplanes coming this way. The pack being led by a Chinese triple. And the rest of the posse consists of an Embraer 175 to Oslo and an E2 Embraer to Dublin, coming this way. Cargo Lux is going to 36 center. That is a pity. Where will it be going to? Luxembourg. Okay, yeah. Oh, they've written it on the blade in the front. Really? Is it a hybrid livery? Oh, yeah. That's having a sense of humor. If I draw a star on the front of my C1, it's all of a sudden also a Mercedes-Benz. Cat graffiti. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Right, so Chinese triple going to Shanghai in China. Embraer 175 to Oslo in the middle. E2 Embraer 195 to Dublin behind that. The third airplane coming this way. Now, I'm also seeing a car in the field on the opposite side of the road leading to the roundabout over here. I'm not exactly sure. I didn't even know that you were able to drive that far to begin with. It's definitely not here on the road in the foreground where the roundabout is also ending here. It is in the field. There's actually another field over there. From what I could always see from the car, it was a grass field, but apparently there's a road somewhere that allows you to drive a vehicle that far towards the runway. Right, as expected, while the Chinese triple is making its way to the threshold, at least one of the two will take cheater's lane. And the second airplane, the E2, is actually continuing to the threshold. Over here we have KLM flight 1201, which will be leaving for Oslo pretty soon. It is an Embraer 175, the PHEXK. It is 8 years old, first flight January 2017. Will it be turning and burning? We'll find out soon enough. The answer is yes. And what is up? Top of the morning, Senor Rodriguez back in the chat. Evan is also celebrating 23 months of membership, but probably could have been 24 by now. Stupid payment issues. I had a look and I see that it won't be long before you are actually going to turn blue, mate. You probably could have been blue already, but just a few more weeks, maybe even a few more days, and you will be turning blue regardless. Mate, thank you so much for the ongoing support, mate. Always nice when you're in the chat. I hope you still like it in the lounge. Thank you so much for the ongoing support, Evan. One of the earliest members, and even though due to payment issues you weren't a member for a short period of time, you're still one of the longest standing members and almost always in the chat. Always happy to have you. I hope you still like coming here, and even if you don't like being a member anymore, I do hope that you will be coming back for a long time to come as a regular recurring viewer. Thank you so much, Evan. And pretty soon you will turn blue as well, mate. That was the Chinese triple. Chinese triple, and now we have two narrow bodies, beginning with an E2 Embraer 195 and another Embraer 175 has arrived. In the meantime, Reginaldo also back. Bom dia. Tuning in from Sao Paulo in Brazil, where it is still quite early. Samir, goedemiddag. Right, 747 Cargo Lux to Luxembourg is on the move. We'll be taking the center runway to Luxembourg, but it is almost going to traverse runway 06. After that, will be long before it will be lining up. Cathay Pacific to Hong Kong, unfortunately also on the move. The timing means it is a candidate for the center runway as well. Luckily we can see traffic taking off from the center runway quite well from over here. E2 Embraer 195. Now, of course, these airplanes keep producing sound and noise, but if you compare this with 777s, with A350s, with regular Embraer 190s or 175s, with 737s or A320s, these airplanes actually are substantially more quiet. Not sure if the mic is able to convey the audio difference, but thank you so much for the kind words, Evan, who says, thanks boy, it's all due to your closeness to the planes and unhinged jokes. Well, unhinged jokes is what we excel at. We're not for the faint-hearted. Also, if you score high on traits for autism spectrum disorder, you might also not always enjoy the content over here. Right, so Cargolux 747 and Cathay Pacific A350-1000 are on the move to center, sadly. Are those magpies? No, I don't think they are. Right, another king has entered. It is Russell Crowe, and that's probably Cheryl to the right. Well, hard to see from a distance. Whoever is the loudest, that's Russell. Easy way to tell them apart. Now, Mike and his mate are over there, the magpies. Will we see a turf war ensue? Stick around. We'll find out pretty soon. Right, Cargolux to Luxembourg is rolling. Flight 2613. Operated by Cargolux Italia, outbound to Luxembourg, the LXUCV, here it is. It's not only light, but probably, well, it's not, it doesn't only have little fuel on board, but it's probably also very light. It does make for a nice combo shot with the tower over here. Right, let's see what else is in store. A couple of Embraer 175s are on the move to the Polderbaan. There is a 737 to Salzburg lined up. 737 to Pisa will be following after that. That's all on center. Evan is tuning out. See you later, mate. Hadi Karin, goedemiddag. Cathay Pacific A350-1000 to Hong Kong is now taxiing towards the threshold. The threshold of the center runway, unfortunately. Hey, Delta Airlines to Detroit, A350, flight 133, seems to have been pushed back. Air Canada flight 809 to Toronto also seems to have been pushed back. Right, we're waiting. While we're waiting, little background music to pass the time more easily. Indeed, regional airport vibes, Jindrosek. Now, we will be able to see action soon. It does look like the A350 from Cathay Pacific is lining up now. We have a couple of narrow bodies that are coming this way, 2 Embraer 175s. But now we are going to see the next airplane from center pretty soon take off. We're waiting now for Cathay Pacific, the A350-1000, which will be leaving for Hong Kong via the center runway. The Bravo LXA, Lima X-Ray Alpha. Hadi Kaartje, goedemiddag. There it is. A350-1000 Cathay Pacific to Hong Kong, flight 270. 6 years old already, this airplane. First flight was in May 2018. In the meantime, an Embraer 175 here in the foreground, taking off from the Polderbaan. Howdy Stefan, goedemiddag. Ooh, and that was a nice combo with a contrail. Contrail is quite well visible over here now, actually. So there are two. One is passing away, moving away, I should say. That is an Emirates 777-300 quite clearly visible. We have another one a bit closer by. That is moving west to east. That's Air India. Dreamliner, from what I can see. And also something with 4 engines by the looks of it, that I think we saw in the background. Yeah, that certainly was in the background of the Cathay A350. Now I need to ask what this is. This is an A380 from Emirates. Is it going to Manchester or is it going elsewhere? All right, now let's see. El Al to Tel Aviv, taking off from center right now as we speak. And we are waiting for another departure. Parallel departures in progress. Traffic to the east now mostly, and that is going to the center runway. Felix, good to see ya. FJWH, good afternoon. Play is coming this way. Hey there, Keenan. Alles goed, absolutely. Hope that also goes for you and all others who have joined. Air Arabia Maroc to Nador. Not Nada, but Nador. Not Mordor, but Nador. Move away. That's in the north of we have an Embraer coming this way by the looks of it, an Embraer 175 to Gdansk. Air Canada is also on the move, going to Toronto, coming this way. We have a 737 to Edinburgh that is on its way to the Polderbaan, as is the Play A320neo. Let's see what else is on the move. KLM flight 651 and A330 to Washington. Hadi RDW, goedemiddag. Wonder if KLM flight 735 to Curaçao is coming this way. Between it and the center runway, I think it might be a candidate for this runway as well. KLM to Nairobi, probably to center. Narrowbody's taking off from the center runway for the time being. Mike the Magpie over there. Let's see. So we have this little Embraer 175 to Gdansk, KLM flight 1305. In the background, that's KLM flight 927 to Edinburgh. And Play right after that. There it is, third airplane. Audrey has to go. Audrey, see you later. Thanks for joining. Air Canada flight 809 has just traversed around the threshold of the center runway. Should be approaching in a few minutes. Approaching the threshold. In the meantime, this Embraer to Gdansk. KLM flight 1305. 737 in the background, approaching 06, which together with 36 right are the two runways for arrivals today. Once again, the sky is opening up a bit more. Earlier it was just the western half of the sky where things were a bit more open. Now looking to the north you can also see more openness, and even looking to the east, land inward, a bit more openness. The south too. So it is actually opening up a little bit. Next airplane to line up here on the threshold of 36 left is going to be KLM flight 927 to Edinburgh. After that we are going to see Play, another opportunity for our members to use and abuse custom emojis. Here it is, the A320neo flight 461. This is KLM flight 927 to Edinburgh, 737-800. Right. Wind on the scale of chimney smoke currently is looking like this. And after Play has departed, I will do another update of the weather, see what wind and the temperature have been doing. First up, it is time for Play. You know what time it is. Flight 461. Good opportunity to make the chat red, if you are so inclined. It's an A320neo, the TFPPB, 4 years old, first flight September 2020. Up, up, and away. Next will be Air Canada, the first Air Canada of the show. The Dreamliner, not donned in that bank rubber look, but whether or not they took our money, I am not sure. Let's have a quick look and see what the weather has been doing. This is the meter that I pasted into ticker when I updated it. A refresh will tell us now that there is no longer a ceiling, just scattered clouds at 2,000 feet, but we can look through it. The wind direction hasn't changed significantly. The wind speed is still around double digits, now 9 knots. It was a bit higher earlier, but it has been all around 10 knots throughout the stream. Temperature 2 degrees higher, 11 degrees C, so that is roughly 52 degrees Fahrenheit. The air pressure is still relatively high with 1,029 hectopascals. A refresh of current runway use will tell us that 06 is used for landings and the parallel departures are in progress via the runway we are standing next to right at the beginning over here and the center runway. Let me update the ticker with the latest meter. Here we go. For those of you wondering what it all means, it is the weather report that is updated twice an hour. EHAM is the name of Schiphol Airport, an international abbreviation. together with AMS, the two runway abbreviation, the two airport abbreviations. You then have the time and date of the report. So the 10th, 10:25 Zulu, that's 12:25 Central European time. The wind direction and speed 9 knots from 340 degrees, and the wind direction is variable between 290 degrees and 030 degrees. 9999 means 10 plus kilometers of visibility. Then scattered clouds at 2000 feet, the air temperature and the dew point, the air pressure, and no sig means no significant changes expected in the upcoming 2 hours. Air Canada Dreamliner, in the meantime, moving to the runway threshold, visible over there. EasyJet is also coming. KLM is coming. Here we have Air Canada flight 809 going to Toronto pretty soon. 7878 Dreamliner. Airplane 10 years old, first flight January 2015. Here we go, showtime. Right, Roy has to go. Thanks for joining, Roy. Enjoy the rest of your day, mate, and hope to see you again soon. Okay. Was looking for a BizJet that just now passed overhead. Couldn't see it, but I am seeing a contrail that is forming right. It just passed by my zenith. It's Delta. It says so on the tin. Passing right overhead. Grazing a bit of cloudiness visually. Of course it is flying higher than that, but cloud is obscuring our view a little bit. Right, so we have an E2 Embraer over there. We have an EasyJet over there. And another EasyJet over there. This is EasyJet going to Glasgow, an A319, 15 years old, first flight September 2009. Right. Sophie has to go. See you later, Sophie. Okie doo. Russell and Cheryl over there. And Daisy is now awake. Is Donald in the vicinity? Don't see him. Daisy is there. Daisy Duck, first time we're seeing her. In the meantime, need to umbrella 195. Going to Billund. KLM flight 1295. Jendrosik asks, how is the hand towel situation today? Yeah, the dispenser is still empty. They haven't gotten around to filling it up yet, despite numerous of complaints. Next up, an A319 to London Luton. Look away if you are Luton intolerant, because this might give you the cramps. This is flight 22516 EasyJet. A319, old school whistle, and it's the Gazetteer. Hadi Daniel, goedemiddag. Right, Britty Hopper in next. Embraer 170, flying on behalf of KLM. That immediately gives it away. KLM doesn't have Embraer 170s in their own fleet, so if you see a KLM with an Embraer 170, you know it is Britty Hopper. Flight 939 I should say. It's an Embraer 170 long range. They're going to use this airplane to travel 386 nautical miles all the way to Glasgow. The airplane is 21 years old. The first flight was in March 2004. They don't want us to look into the cockpit. They've shielded it off. Very well, if that's the way you want it, you can have it like that. Right, a couple of contrails moving west to east away from me. More or less seemingly on parallel courses. Or are they? No, they are diverging a little bit. KLM Embraer 190 to Göteborg right now, taking off. 15-year-old airplane, first flight March 2010, the PHEZP, VEZP. Right, as expected, Aalsmeerbaan for the A380 means it is going to be really far away when it lands. That's the third A350 from Delta, isn't it? Or is it the fourth already? I think it might be the fourth even. Delta Airlines flight 133 going to Detroit. E2 Embraer 195 to Copenhagen behind it. Let's see what else is on the move. Air Canada flight 901, KLM flight 603, KLM flight 605. These are all wide bodies coming this way. Slowly but surely, another wide body exodus is coming. Now, it is almost 1 p.m. and that means one runway open for outbound traffic. So everything outbound will come to this runway where we are standing from 1 till 2 p.m. The downside is that there are going to be 2 runways open for inbound traffic. 06 and 36 right. And that means that during that hour, everything arriving from the east, such as A380s in special liveries, will be landing on the runway that is the furthest from where we are standing. In other words, you won't be able to see much of it from over here. We have an E2 Embraer 195 that is using Cheater's Lane to be taking off to Copenhagen before the A350 will. Jendrosik is muting the audio for now, meeting on Teams once again. Be sure not to suddenly unmute or questions will be raised. KLM flight 1271 to Copenhagen. German Airways flying on behalf of KLM. We'll be leaving for Aalborg pretty soon, but not before we have seen this Delta A350 leaving for Detroit, Michigan. Now, has anybody kept track of how many we have seen already in this stream? I think it is the 4th, but might also be the 3rd. Thought it was 4th. Just from Delta in one show. Up and away it is. Delta Airlines flight 133. The November 503 Delta November. 7 years old. First flight September 2017. The gear is retracting. And there you go. Things over here beginning to look more blue and more sunny. Don't think we are going to see periods where the clouds are taking over again like we did in the beginning, where it initially opened up and then it became more cloudy again temporarily. German Airways flying on behalf of KLM, flight 1285 to Aalborg, Embraer 190. This is the airplane that we used to know as Chucky. It's Dupree. Dupree is 17 years old. The first flight was in January 2008. I'm seeing a big airplane that is coming this way. KLM flight 635 to Las Vegas. 787-10 Dreamliner will be taking off after this Embraer 190 has left. If you are enjoying the stream so far and you haven't already, consider leaving a like. It really helps to bring in new people. People like yourselves who are into live aviation streams such as these, but who haven't heard of AMS Live yet. Hadi Joop, goedemiddag. Midvie has to go. Thanks for joining, Midvie. Hope to see you again later. The Pre is going. Also known as Chucky when it still had the special livery. KLM 100 years over here, which is leaving for Las Vegas pretty soon as KLM flight 635. (787-10) Dreamliner. Trim already set. Elevators in their neutral position, pointing downward a little bit. Atlas 747 enters land near Leiden, about to turn final 4 minutes ago. Wolfgang says, if you could give me a heads up when it is in the vicinity of New Vennep, that would be terrific. Quad Squad alert. Yeah, it's a show without any Quad Squad members to or from this runway. We have seen them at a distance. Not yet from this runway. This is KLM flight 635 to Las Vegas, 787-10. It's the PHBKA 5-year-old airplane, first flight June 2019. A livery that is 5 years outdated actually. Hadi Mitchell, goedemiddag. And welcome to the show. All others who have joined. We have a triplet of wide bodies that is coming this way. Hey there, T-Mac, good afternoon. On the far left, we have a 787-10, which is going to Chicago. KLM flight 611. And following it, we have Air Canada flight 901, which will be leaving for Montreal in Canada pretty soon. That is a 787-8 Dreamliner. And lastly, the triplet is not complete without KLM flight 603. That is another 777-200 which will be leaving for LAX pretty soon, Los Angeles. Servus de Munich, who is tuning in from Munich, Germany. Right, Atlas over New-Vennep. Thank you for the heads up, guys. The G is leaving for Athens, presumably. It is 1:07 on paper. On paper, we should be back to just one runway for outbound traffic. Hey, Gary Grebe, mother ducker. Oh, bastard. He just now dove under. Well, here's Atlas. It coincides with the spooling up of this KLM. KLM flight 611 to Chicago. And over there, Atlas Air. Going to 06. And in the foreground, Air Canada at Montreal, flight 901. That's KLM flight 603 to LAX. Over here we have KLM flight 635 to Willemstad, Curaçao. Gary Grebe, mother ducker. Alrighty, this is Air Canada flight 901 to Montreal. It is a 7878. 10 years old, first flight May 2014. Carefully lifting off. And going. And Paul is going for a round of golf. Enjoy, mate. This is KLM flight 603 to LAX. It is a 772, aka a 777-200. The PHBQM, that's Bravo Quebec Mike. 19 years old, first flight March 2006. And after this, it is time for KLM flight 7335, which will be leaving for Willemstad, Curaçao. That's 777-300. We have more wide bodies coming this way. 7879 Dreamliner KLM flight 677 is also coming this way. Again, KLM Asia on the way to the United States of Asia. Gertin has to go. See you later. I'm surprised to see that departures still take place from the center runway. Parallel departure still in progress. Bit surprised to see it. This is KLM flight 735, which will be leaving for Willemstad Curaçao pretty soon. It is the PHBVD, and it used to be Marissa's beloved SkyTeam livery 777. However, it is painted back into its standard livery. 15 years old, first flight August 2009. Right. Next up, KLM flight 677, which is outbound to Calgary in Canada. The PHBHI. I think I can see a glimpse of something big going to the runway furthest removed from where we are standing. It's a glimpse of the A380 in the destination Dubai livery. Landing on the runway we can see the least of from over here. KLM flight 677 in the meantime taking off to Calgary. It is an 8-year-old 7879 Dreamliner. Hadi Clemencia, goedemiddag. Good to see you again. Doing reasonably well over here. Was a bit cold earlier in the morning and a bit dark and gloomy, but it is luckily now once again getting a bit more sunny. And that is nice. Is that an A350? Hard to see. Also hard to see is the A380. It is a special livery, but from here it's hard to see even that. You can see the contour of what is looking like an A380, but it is landing on the wrong runway. Ah, Qatar A350. Nice. Yeah, so from the A380 over here you can see a lot because it is landing on the runway that is furthest removed from the runway we are standing next to. Over here we have an Embraer 170 that is going to go to Personchester, flying on behalf of KLM. You don't even have to look and click on the details. If it is an Embraer 170, you'll know it is Britty Hopper, aka Eastern Airways. KLM flight 1033 is the flight number. The airplane is 20 years old already and is from 2005. Month not specified on flight radar. As is so often the case. Mike the Magpie is still over here walking around like he owns the place. Here we have KLM flight 705, which is going to go to Rio de Janeiro. You know, on what country also lies on the continent where Rio de Janeiro is at? Damn right. This is a 7879 Dreamliner. The registration is the PHBHE Bravo Hotel Echo. The airplane is 9 years old, first flight March 2016. And Luca, thank you for the kind words. Goedemiddag. Here we go. Fire in the hole. Tap Retails has to go. Thank you for joining Tap. Hope to see you again in the next one. Hopefully tomorrow or later in the weekend. I am surprised to see that there are still parallel departures in progress right now. Iberia Express just now has taken off from the center runway, which I thought was going to close come 1 o'clock. So I am wondering what they are now doing. Are they leaving it open until 1:40? That could be it. Ramon has Mike Magpie, Donald and Daisy Duck, Russell and Sheryl Crow, Gary Grebe. Yep, absolutely. Nice indeed, Yorkshire. Now there's also Sally and Steven Seagal. And we have Harry the Hypnotizing Heron. KLM flight 957 to Newcastle. Another Britty Hopper Embraer 190. 11 years old, first flight February 2014. And there is a drag race on car versus airplane. And even though it looked like the car was winning, it does seem that the airplane is now actually going faster. Yillard says that Soderbergh is now actually really closed. And now everything really is coming this way. It's about damn time. Hey there, Guy. Good to see ya. Hey there, Steven. Good to see ya. And Fidel Castro, of course. We also have Fidel Castro. This is an Embraer 190 going to Bremen, German Airways, flying on behalf of KLM, and it is a hybrid livery. It is half German Airways, half BA. What to make of it, you tell me. Gary Grebe is still swimming over here, diving under. He has a sixth sense. And as soon as I point the camera in his direction, he immediately dives under. Herpa Derpa Derpa is also making another appearance in the show. Here it is, 75 years of going viral with herpes. There it is. We have an A330 coming this way. And I think that was the A380 in the background. Yeah. Colorful A380 today, having arrived at its gate, Golf 9. This is KLM flight 667 to Austin in Texas. Not Houston, but Austin. 7879 Dreamliner. Hey there, planes, trains and some cycling. The engine sounds of this A330 are overpowering a little. Hey, what is up, Alvin? Good to see you again, mate. Hope all is well. Yellowt says KLM flight KLM cargo 747 to Hong Kong is in pushback. That is good news. It is also nice that we are seeing another cheater on Cheater's Lane over here. This is KLM flight 1045 to Birmingham, which is probably going to leave before the A330 will. Whether it is going to precede the KLM that is already lined up, I doubt. It's probably going to be the number 2. This is the Herpa Derpa Derpa, which is leaving for JD's hometown of Düsseldorf. Going viral with 75 years of herpes, itching and scratching all over the world. And Bravo 90 long range. 18-year-old airplane first flight somewhere in 2007. The A330 in the background lining up. And I'm thinking this is going to be the next departure. KLM flight 1045 to Dublin, Ireland. No, to Birmingham. Delta A330 300 in the background that you saw was Delta flight 163 to Minneapolis, Minnesota. On the mic you could probably hear the engines of the A330 already. It has now lined up and the engines are facing us. That immediately makes them a bit louder. Turn and burn. Turning and burning. Now on the other side we have KLM flight 651 lined up, ready to go. That's an A330, which is going to leave for Washington. Delta A330, Pretty Hopper, KLM triple, and a KLM 737. Alright, KLM flight 651 to Washington, A330 300, fuck D and thy parents. those of you who are sensitive to cuss words, I was just reciting the registration of this airplane, PHAKD, P-H-A-K-D. It's a rude but also a bit more posh way to say piss off. Delta Airlines flight 163 to Minneapolis, Minnesota. A330-300, 21 years old, first flight August 2003. We have another cheater on cheater's lane that is looking me in the face from the right. I feel stared at. That's KLM flight 1955 to Athens. It will take off before the next wide body will at some point. I think it's going to be the number 2. The number 1 already lined up over here. Goedemiddag Stroopwafel Aviation. Stroopwafel Aviation. So we are looking at Eastern Airways, aka Britty Hopper, flight 1079 for KLM. It's going to Bristol. 747 to 36 left. Paul says that's good news. That's KLM cargo to Hong Kong, isn't it? This Britty Hopper Embraer 190 long range, which is used for a flight that is 282 nautical miles long, is 18 years old and hails from the year 2007. Means my car is 2 years older than this airplane is. And yeah, I can hear the cheater on cheater's lane. No time to waste. Gotta move with haste, otherwise I'm missing out on airplane movement. KLM flight 1955 to Athens. 737-900, turning and burning. Oh. Stephen, you're mixing up two things now. Stroopwafels are Dutch, waffles are Belgian. You have Brussels and from Liège, from Luik. Those are waffles that are different than stroopwafels. One is Dutch, the other two are Belgian. Widebody is pulling up. This is KLM flight 757 to Panama City. And it is of course not a Boeing 757 but a 777-300ER. It's the PHB VW. 4 years old, first flight January 2021. We have another cheater on cheater's lane. It's holding short, it's looking us in the eye. EasyJet A320neo to Edinburgh, flight 23302. Well, Stephen, if you're ever in the vicinity, you do have to try them. Stroopwafels and also the Belgian waffles are really tasty. Alright, so now we have Transavia flight 5135 lined up at the threshold. It's going now, going to Barcelona, as will the airplane that is right behind it. That's Vueling flight 8303. 2 airplanes to Barcelona. In the meantime, over here we have EasyJet that is in cheater's lane. Don't know what the exact order of departure will be. Since there really isn't a wide body that these narrow bodies have to go before, have to go in front of, I should say. Barcelona! I think we have our answer. I think the EasyJet is moving. EasyJet flight 23302 to Edinburgh. Sup, bruh? And it's the Zee. Z-E-E. That's the Dutch word for sea. Z-E-E. Z-E-E. Means sea in Dutch. Of course, in German, "See" means something different. Germans and the Dutch use the same words, but they have exactly the opposite meaning. Our "see" means lake in German. Their "See" means lake in Dutch. And we call a lake meer, and they call sea lake, zee. And the sea meer. Anyway, I'm digressing. Vueling to Barcelona, Hans' favorite. And after that, a jet to Istanbul. The dot is still in place. The wide bodies are approaching. Gives me a quick moment to go over to the computer and welcome Morny as our latest Aurora Skylounge member. Morny, thank you so much for your support. welcome to the Sky Lounge. Hope you will like the custom emojis that you now have at your disposal. There's 31 of them. Thanks for the vote of confidence. Those custom emojis you are allowed to use however you want. In fact, I challenge you guys to use custom emojis the most inappropriate way you can think of. Use them, abuse them, whatever you see fit. This is a jet to Istanbul. A jet to Istanbul, A320neo, A321neo. Hank is leaving. Thanks for joining, Hank. Hope to see you again later in the weekend. Now, what do we have over there? I spy with my little eye the first queen of the sky that is going to take off from the runway we are standing next to. Took a long while before we are finally able to see one, but there it is. The Queen is coming. Before that, we have a few wide-body appetizers to get us in the right mood. This is Delta Airlines flight 137, which will be leaving for Detroit, Michigan now. A330neo, November 418, Delta X-ray. 3-year-old airplane, first flight April 2022. Indeed, Ramon. Quad squad emoji you can use. Here it is. Coming soon. Before that, KLM flight 641, which will be leaving for New York, JFK. It's the PHBKK. It is a 787-10 Dreamliner. This airplane is 4 years old and had its first flight in December 2020. Stephen, mate, thank you so much for a super chat that you didn't have to give, but did it anyway. Stephen says, let's get this party started. Whoop whoop. It is coming, the queen of the show. The first queen that is actually taking off from this runway. Before the Queen is going to take off, Shamrock is going to take off from the threshold, an A321neo to Dublin. I'm not sure what the E2 Embraer is going to do. Wouldn't be surprised if the E2 were to take Cheater's lane. Yep, it's turning in, so both the narrow bodies will be leaving before the wide body will. This is KLM flight 1009 to London Heathrow. It's an E2 Embraer 195, and together with Shamrock flight 605 to Dublin, these two narrow bodies will take off before KLM Cargo will. Question is, which of the two narrow bodies will leave first? It looks like Shamrock is now lining up. So we have time to follow one of these two airplanes. The one actually preceding the 747 I'm going to skip, just so that we can see Her Majesty the Queen. Right, so this one we are able to see because the E2 umbrella will take off next after this. This is Aer Lingus flight 605 to Dublin, Ireland, A321neo. And the E2 is now taxiing towards me to line up here on Cheaters Lane. And that's all well and good, but we are keeping the camera focused at Her Majesty the Queen. Here we go. Think this Martin Air Cargo, KLM Cargo, operated by Martin Air, which is diverting to Dubai, but should go to Dubai, is diverting to Hong Kong. Looking at what else is on the move on the platform, I think this also makes a nice last airplane of today, and after that I'm going to wrap it up. Be back again tomorrow with another live stream. If all is well, I'm going to repeat it once again for those of you tuning in later. If all is well, Rick Meester will also be coming this way. So looking forward to seeing him again. We might have a co-host tomorrow then. This is KLM Cargo, operated by Martin Air, flight 9441, which is scheduled to Dubai but is diverting to Hong Kong. The PHCKA, and she is 22 years old. The first flight was in March 2003. And away she goes. What a looker. Gear up. There you go. This was the last airplane for today, folks. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. I had a blast and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I have. If you have liked the show but you haven't already, consider dropping a like. It really helps to bring in new people, new viewers like yourselves who are interested in live streams like these, but who haven't come across the channel yet. We're still small in a big pond that is called YouTube, and your likes really help to bring more viewers in who would want to join our already awesome community. A massive big thanks for the support you guys gave today. Thanks for the gifted memberships, for becoming a member yourself, for the super chats, the super stickers, the PayPal donations and merch store purchases. A big thank you once again to all the mods for keeping the chat friendly and accessible to all. You guys rock, and you guys together make this channel so great. Hope to see you all tomorrow. If all is well, I should be out again with another live stream tomorrow and the day after tomorrow and on Sunday. And if all is well, Rick will be joining tomorrow. Hope to see you then. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe, and bye for now, guys.